wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning. Happy Friday. We made it to the weekend.
That's right.
Yes, girl.
Yes. So former President Trump was in D.C. meeting with Republican lawmakers saying the GOP is unified and he expects to take back the White House in November. He said President Biden is the wrong man for the job and cited inflation as one of the reasons. Let's hear more from Trump on Capitol Hill.
We're a nation that is being laughed at all over the world. We have a leader that's being laughed at all over the world. We have great unity. We have great common sense. A lot of very smart people in this room. We have levels of inflation that nobody's seen for, they say 42 years, they say 53 years, and they say 75 years. I would say probably all of them are wrong. Probably we've never seen levels like this before.
Why would they say it then, Trump? Okay, get the facts. So Trump says he plans to bring common sense back to government and secure the southern border if he wins the election. Now, while on Capitol Hill, Trump spoke to Fox News saying he has a pretty good idea of who he'll choose to be his running mate and will most likely make that announcement at the Republican National Convention next month in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Let's hear that.
Look, we have some really talented people. I have a pretty good idea, but I think it's probably I'll do it the way it's usually done.
Doing it the way it's usually done all time.
Is it me or do I not hear much from Joe Biden? I don't feel like I hear much out of him. Of course, he had the Juneteenth celebration, and we see Kirk Franklin, we seen him dancing, but I don't really hear him saying much. Is it? And I wonder if is he waiting for debates? Because this is the time where he should really put his foot down and tell everybody what he's done, the things that he's put into play, the things that he's done to help Americans. Because right now, all you're hearing is one side saying inflation is bad, immigration is bad, this is bad, but you don't never hear what I haven't heard much out of Joe Biden in the last couple of weeks actually.
To Charlamagne's point, I think that they're probably going to get their messaging together, and it doesn't mean that the Biden administration isn't speaking up, but get into that in the 7 o'clock hour because they do have things that they are mentioning and efforts that they are putting forward. We'll talk about that. But yesterday marked Trump's first visit back to Capitol Hill, the Capitol, since the attack on the U.S. Capitol following his 2020 election loss. Or as Nancy Pelosi puts it, the instigator of the insurrection is returning to the scene of the crime. Yeah. In other news, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg will testify before Congress the day after Donald Trump's sentencing in his hush money case. Bragg will appear before Republican-led House Judiciary Committee on July 12th, along with one of the top prosecutors in the case, Matthew Colangelo. Republicans claim Bragg carried out an unprecedented abuse of prosecutorial authority and say the case was politically motivated. Now, we all know that Trump was convicted of falsifying business records to cover up payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels. Elsewhere on Capitol Hill, in Oklahoma, their Supreme Court is dismissing a lawsuit from survivors of the Tulsa race massacre who were seeking reparations. As many as 300 African Americans that we know of were killed in Tulsa in 1921 when an angry mob, a white mob, raided the prosperous black neighborhood of Greenwood, which we called Black Wall Street, and destroyed over 1,000 homes. The area at the time was known as Black Wall Street, and in 2020, 4 survivors sued the city of Tulsa and other local authorities claiming the destruction continued to affect Tulsa. Last year, a district court dismissed that lawsuit, and on Wednesday, the Oklahoma Supreme Court affirmed that decision. That's just terrible.
Yeah, that's horrible. If you listen to the Breakfast Club, four of them came actually on the Breakfast Club. They were in their 90s, and the one thing that they said was they believed that the government would do the right thing. They felt like before they left this earth, that they would get the reparations that were deserved. And it's so sad that they've been through all of that, and they still believed, and the government let them down.
Yeah, that is it. We are in unprecedented times. That's the best I could put it. I mean, there's so much happening that all of us are looking at each other like, what? So that's your front page news for now. I got more on President Biden. He's in Italy for the G7 summit in the 7 o'clock hour.
All right. Thank you, Morgan. Everybody else, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. Again, 800-585-1051. Get it off your chest. It's a Friday, and it's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning again, and happy Friday. Yes. So, as mentioned before, President Biden, we'll talk about him. He's in Italy with other world leaders for the G7 summit and publicly addressed his son Hunter's conviction on federal firearms charges. Let's hear more from the president on his son.
He has overcome an addiction. He's one of the brightest, most decent men I know. I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Yeah, that's wild, because if I'm the president, I'm pardoning my son. It is what it is. I mean, we see all these people with power, and why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I pardon my son? He says my son is decent. He said my son is battling addiction. Why wouldn't I give him another shot? He gives other people other shots, right? And he said his son is a good person. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah, well, he said he's not going to pardon him. He also went on, if someone asked him if he would commute Hunter's sentence, and he answered no. So I'm not sure what's about to happen with Hunter Biden. I guess we have to wait and see, once he's sentenced. But yeah, I agree with you, Envy. What's the point of, having a daddy in power if you ain't going to do something with it?
Right.
Yeah. But the part that gets me is that too much Trump, right? The part that gets me is Trump actually empathized with the Biden family. Maybe he's the one that's trying to get a pardon. Let's hear from Trump actually empathizing.
Hey, yo.
That whole subject, I understand it pretty well because I've had it with people have it in their family. It's a very tough thing. It's a very tough situation for a father. It's a very tough situation for a brother or sister. It's a tough moment for their family. It's a tough moment for any family involved.
He can relate.
You trying to tell me if Trump's son wasn't in some trouble, you don't think Trump will commute or pardon him?
No, what I was saying is I think Trump is looking for a pardon.
No, I was just saying, but Trump will pardon his son, and I've seen Trump pardon people with worse crimes than
way worse
than Hunter.
So Trump was referencing his brother, Fred, who actually struggled with alcoholism and died at the age of 42 in 1981. So I guess he does relate a little bit. So back to the G7 summit, the world's 7 wealthiest democracies, Canada, France, Germany, the UK, Italy, and Japan have agreed on lending up to $50 billion to Ukraine using frozen Russian assets as collateral. The US and Ukraine also entered a 10-year bilateral security agreement as Russia's full-scale invasion continues. Let's hear more from Biden as the US stands with Ukraine.
The United States, the G7, and countries around the world have consistently answered the question by saying, yes, we will. We will say it again. Yes, again and again and again. We're going to stand with Ukraine.
Yeah, so meanwhile, on the home front, President Biden is cautiously celebrating the Supreme Court preservation of access to the widely used abortion pill. In a statement, Biden acknowledged that the High Court's ruling that allows mifepristone to be mailed to patients without an in-person doctor's visit. The president went on to say that the fight for women's reproductive freedom is not over, claiming Republicans are planning to ban abortions nationwide. Now, Dr. Colleen McNicholas is the chief medical officer at Planned Parenthood of St. Louis and the Southwest Missouri region, and she says there's still a long way to go in the fight to keep abortion access. Let's hear from the doctor.
We will, take the time to read that 38 pages and figure out what the next strategy is. The fight continues, but today is a moment to take a deep breath and to be grateful that folks still have access to this very safe and very effective method. Well, the truth is we know that anti-abortion extremists are not going to stop. They weren't going to stop when Roe was overturned. They aren't going to stop at losing this case.
This is actually a win for the, I wouldn't say so much the Biden administration, but, under the Biden administration, that the conservative Supreme Court actually ruled in favor of keeping some sort of access. This decision comes 2 years after the High Court overturned Roe v. Wade, the landmark abortion rights decision. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, let's switch gears because it's Father's Day weekend, right? And consumers are expected to spend roughly $22 billion on Father's Day gifts. The National Retail Federation says the average consumer is shelling out about $190 on gifts and celebrations for dad. About 3/4 of the U.S. adults are expected to celebrate the holiday. This comes at the same time that Wallet Hub revealed the best and worst states for working dads in 2024. The top 5 best places for working dads, according to Wallet Hub: Massachusetts, D.C., Connecticut, New Jersey, go Envy, and Minnesota. The worst states for working dads: Louisiana, Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, and South Carolina. Now, the indicators were everything from the average length of a workday to childcare costs to overall health of men. So, Massachusetts also has the best parental leave policies of any state and the best school systems, which is the reason why Wallet Hub ranked them very high. How you feel about that, Amy? You say you got a lot of kids, so.
No, I mean, I love Father's Day, and not because of the gifts, but I mean, it's kind of bad because I kind of get what I want when I want it, so it's hard to get me something. But I mean, for me, it's just being around the kids for Father's Day, but I'm around my kids all the time, so it's just. We barbecue usually every Father's Day. Usually my father comes over, and if not, we just enjoy and chill. I just love the time with my kids. I mean, every once in a while, they'll get me a stupid. I don't want to say stupid, but they'll get me a tie. They'll get me underwear. They'll get me socks. But I ain't gonna front. I need that because that's what I honestly need. When my mother gets me every Father's Day and Christmas, she gives me a pack of wife beaters and some underwear, and that lasts me the year. So I don't be mad.
Still being a mom. That is so funny.
that's what she gives me, and I love
crazy.
it. I don't know.
Those are those. That's your best gift. Would you call those one of the best gifts?
Those are the gifts I use throughout the year.
Those are essentials.
Yeah, those are my essentials.
So, what I'm hearing is we should continue to get dad socks, ties, and underwear, basically.
Until they make it.
My dad asked me for
what he asked
brush.
you for.
I was happy with that. He said a brush, a real good brush.
Right.
I said, I got you.
See,
but now the dads with the practical requests, okay.
But now when you make it, like when my kids make it, like Jess made it, you got to step your game up a little bit now. Now, no more brushes now.
Oh yeah. No, he definitely asked me for a Maserati.
There you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. Especially, I just seen you buy your sister a car, and I'm your father. Yeah. Nah, no more. I need the brush to go in the Maserati. That's what I'm talking about, Pops.
Maybe just bring him to the car show, Jess.
Or,
that's what I'm going to do.
Or just bring him to the car show. All right. Well, thank you, Morgan.
Yeah, that's your front page news. I'm Morgan Wood. Follow me on social at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, follow the Black Information Network at Black Information Network at BINnews.com. Thank y'all and happy Father's Day.
All right.
Good weekend, girl.
Thank you so much. Now, when we come back, Pastor Carl Lentz and Laura Lentz will be joining us. They have a podcast, Lights On with Carl Lentz, and we'll talk to him next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.